So the first thing you do in Photoshop when you open up an image that comes from your camera, or if you've downloaded it, it's a locked layer right here. So you want to double click it and simply say, okay, now it's unlocked. The second thing you always do with anything that you work on, whether it be Photoshop, InDesign, or whatever it may be, you want to duplicate your assets. An asset is your images that you're working with. So you right click and you duplicate. Now you could do this a number of times depending on what you're doing. Say if these were different images. So what you can do is you can eventually, when you work in Photoshop, you often have 100 layers and it's not fun to go through them all. So what you can do is you go Shift key, select the 2 as a duplicate, come down here, make a folder, and they just put it in the folder. So now I would put this faces, and now I have 2 faces. Let me go back to this, open this up. And I'm going to now double click, call this husband, right? Turn that off, turn this on. Call this wife, since I called him husband. I could say bride and I could say groom, right? But the point to be made is that I might separate these 2. And so if I did that, I would do something like this. I would use my lasso tool just quickly. Have the marching ants, but I don't want to get rid of her. Notice I'm on this layer. I want to get rid of him. So I come up here to select, and I inverse, and I simply hit delete. Now, the reason why that's a soft focus, because I have feather up here. Let me do it again. If I take feather off to 0, and I do that lasso tool again, and I come up here to inverse, because you see, if I hit delete now, it deletes her. But I don't want to do that, so I'm inversing it. So now when I inverse it, the marching ants are here and on the outer part of the image. And now I hit that, and it's hard edge. Now the reason why I didn't want the soft edge, which I certainly could do and it would look lovely, is I really want to do the soft edge myself. I'm going to have to really get in there to isolate it. But the point to be made is that's why we duplicate often. And to get rid of the marching ants, which you really need to do, is Control D or Command D, depending if you're on a Mac or a PC. So you see now I have a backup. So if I make a mistake on this, I have a backup. So I need to do another duplicate because I'm going to single out the face and just say all. And so now I have all, and I can drag and drop it into that folder, and I can close it up so it doesn't look so confusing with all of my layers. So now, often when you do Photoshop, when you do a photo retouching, and I'm specifically talking about a photo retouching, you often need to work on one layer. Unlike this one, which had multiple layers, right? When you do Photoshop, you often work on one layer. You make more layers like what I've done here when I'm sort of touching things up, and I will merge it to do better blending. But basically the toolbar here, which is this right here, these tools right in this list. And again, if you don't have these tools, you want to come here to the three dots, edit tool, and now you have, you would have more. I have gotten all my tools together, and they should be the same for you as well. They got a lot of negative feedback on this, so now they keep things the way they are. But this tool right here, sometimes it might be spot healing. If you ever have an arrow, there's more tools behind it. All of these tools are really good for photo retouching. So this spot healing one is the first tool you'll use a lot for. Now, I am not going to worry about the background because I'm going to eliminate that. I am going to make a whole brand new background for them because it's so bad I would never try to fix it. But what I do need to fix is the faces, right? Or even right here under this uniform. So I'm going to zoom in, and that's a Z. If you roll over, it gives you the shortcut, the Z tool. So I'm in there, and you can mouse down and zoom in and zoom out. I don't want to get you sick as you watch this, but you can remember your space bar lets you mouse down. And so I'm going to take that tool. Let's see, where did it go? I already lost it. Up here it is, the spot healing tool. And you can mouse, like up here, content aware is important. So I'm just leaving it by default as if you were doing it. And I'm going to go mouse down and drag. And you see, if I just click it, it will repair it. So content aware means that it figures out what you have the most of, and it knows that's what you want. So I'm going to mouse down and clean up here. Mouse down, space bar, and move things. And you can see, so what I think that, I don't want that. So you see how that came about? It's a little gray down here, but I'll fix that. It's a little muddy. I'll make it more this color than the greenish. It's got a green problem, and I'll show you how to do that. But you can see how you can get a lot done. And then when you want the brush to be smaller, which is what I have here, the brackets next to P, the upper brackets next to P, make sure you don't have shift on or caps on. You can get smaller. Whoop, and I don't like that, so you Control Z or Command Z, and you can zoom in more. And now I'm mouse down, clicking, click, and so forth. So you see now I'm really getting over here, and it estimates what you want. And when you come back here to view fit on screen, I just cleaned that up. So we use this tool first, the spot healing, and only work on the faces and the clothing. Don't worry about the background because we're going to make a brand new background. So I'm going to, any questions, if anyone has one right now? I'll do it again. I'm going to come over here. You want to mouse down. You'll see these spot healing and so forth. And if you don't have this, just click this button here, edit tool, and drag and drop it over. Right now, all of them are over there, which is the way I like it. Restore defaults you could use. The reason why they gave this is sometimes people who have a job working in Photoshop, they may use only 5 tools. And so they make a palette which just has the 5 tools so they can quickly use it. But for our purpose, we want to cover not all of the tools, but the majority of them. So I am going to stop my share. And remember, like I didn't save this, right? I should save this.